Don't look now, but the Eagles have slowly added a minor change the past few weeks that has completely opened up the Birds' offense. Plus, hear why Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are finally allowing Vic Fangio to dial in his defense, and why these two Eagles might be getting a lot more reps the next few weeks. Oh, and the head coach in DC might have just tipped off the Birds' hand when it comes to the upcoming trade deadline. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, I guess welcome to Kelly Green Week, as the high-flying Birds, now 5-2, fresh off their 37-17 drubbing of Joe Burrow and company, now set their sights on Jacksonville, what will be their first of two Kelly Green jersey games this year, with a home matchup versus the Cowboys in Week 17 as your only other chance to see these vintage throwback unis. Remember, Philly won each of their first two Kelly Green games last year, so here's to hoping the streak continues. Also, in case you didn't watch yesterday's show, myself and Josh Davis are giving away two lower-level Eagles tickets to Thursday Night Football, Eagles vs. Commanders, maybe the game of the year, on November 14th. Entry details are on yesterday's show. That'll be in the pinned comment. Hint, make sure you hit that sub button and like button on today's video. We'll announce the winners during probably halftime of our live stream of Jaguars Eagles this coming Sunday. Now, really quickly on Jacksonville, they not only lost to Green Bay on Sunday, but also lost a key offensive weapon in wide receiver Christian Kirk, who broke his collarbone and will miss the rest of the season. They also saw their other receiver, really their star, Brian Thomas Jr., leave with a chest contusion. Thought he had some broken ribs, but an MRI revealed yesterday no significant injury, and Dougie P confirmed Thomas is probably day-to-day with a pretty good chance to play Sunday in Philly. Also, today marks exactly 1 week until the NFL trade deadline, which naturally was a question immediately asked to Nick Sirianni during his press conference just a couple of hours ago, and he didn't say no, but he didn't say yes.
Yeah, I love the team that we have, and I think this team's really coming together. With that being said, I know, we're always looking for ways to improve our team, and I know Howie's one of the best at that. Of always looking at ways that he can improve the football team, and admire that and value that of how he goes to work there. And but like I said, love the guys that we have. I think we're coming together really nicely as a team, but we'll see how this next week plays out.
Worth noting, the top edge rusher I thought would be a real possibility for the Birds was the Patriots' Josh Uche, but he was traded to the Chiefs a couple of days ago, so yeah, not a ton of options. And honestly, if you go to Vic Fangio's press conference literally an hour ago, he kind of shut down the idea of the Birds needing to go out and get another defensive player.
Yeah, it's hard to improve your team drastically this time of year. I think if you look at some of those trades over the years, they really haven't had the effect that some teams were hoping for. Unless it's a trade that, where you're getting a guy that you're going to have for a few years, where it's more of a bigger trade than swapping guys, trading a sixth for a seventh, those type things.
Now, last week, I went over a couple of non-Myles Garrett, non-Max Crosby options. You want to check that video out. But a week out, even if Fangio says he doesn't want one, doesn't mean Howie isn't picking up the phone. So turn the notification bell. We'll be live first, as usual, if they were to make a trade. Now, speaking of the defense, we just can't overstate how good the Birds defense has been the past 3 weeks, which really can be attributed to the play from the cornerbacks, especially Cooper DeJean, who not only is the second highest graded cover corner in the entire NFL right now at this moment, but has vaulted the Eagles' slot corner cover grade from 24th in the league with Avonte Maddox to 3rd with Cooper DeJean. And that 4th down play DeJean made on Jamar Chase has really taken the league by storm. Just listen to Luke Kuechly rave about it to Kay Adams earlier this morning.
I think the play by Cooper DeJean there on that 4th down stop against Jamar Chase, his ability to track Jamar Chase and make the tackle in open space, that I didn't realize how big he was until Panthers played the Bengals a couple weeks ago, and he was on the field pregame, and I was like, this guy is he's big, he's physical, he's strong, he's got big legs, he breaks tackles. And for a rookie to come up and make a play at that point in the game on 4th down where they're going back and forth, he's slipping through coverage and makes the tackle on Jamar Chase. It's a huge play in that game. I think it kind of took a little energy out of the Bengals, but just a fantastic play by a young player making a tackle on one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL.
Cooper DeJean has really been a breath of fresh air for Philadelphia ever since coming in the past 3 weeks. Coverage, tackling in the open space, and just knowing where he's supposed to be. This is something we have not seen in Philadelphia, especially in the slot, in a very long time. Now, also, don't forget Quinyon Mitchell, of course, who has faced really a pretty great to elite pass catcher almost every single week this year, and Yeah, look at these numbers. No wide receiver has more than 23 yards and more than 2 catches on the budding superstar in Philly. Something film expert Brett Coleman noted is a huge reason why the Eagles defense is having such great success when he said, quote, "The best part about the Eagles defense is that they finally have the corners to do what they actually want to do. They play man coverage on first and second down at the 3rd highest rate and dare you to beat it. 7th in PBU rate, 6th fewest one drives allowed, and 2nd lowest yard/coverage snaps allowed." Also, don't forget to credit the offseason addition of DB coach Christian Parker, who came over from Denver and seems to be the next great DB whisperer, having molded Patrick Surtain into a top 3 cornerback, and now seems to be trending in the right direction with DeJean and Q.
Very important. I think he does a good job with them. Does a good job in the meetings, spends individual time with them in his office, which helps with a lot of guys. He's doing an excellent job with them for sure.
Now, staying with the secondary, Isaiah Rodgers, his play the past couple of weeks, limited, but still has been fantastic, and updates on Slay's injury from yesterday might mean you're going to see a little bit more of Rodgers going forward. Slay suffered a groin injury in that second half versus Cincinnati after, honestly, a really great first and second quarter, but we're waiting on an MRI to determine the severity if Slay can't go. He seems to think he can, but also mentioned, of course, if he can on Sunday, he's pumped to see what Isaiah Rodgers is able to do. And it also sounds like Nick Sirianni, yeah, he's pumped about Rodgers' role as well.
Isaiah, to answer your question on Isaiah, I was able to spend 2020 with Isaiah and saw how special of a player he was when we were in Indy together. His speed, his quickness, his knack for the football, and his work ethic of how he constantly trying to work to get better. Since he stepped foot in this building, and we've been on the practice field with him, all we've seen him do is make plays and do things that we're glad we have him. And again, he gets to go against AJ and Devontae so often that that's going to help. That helps him get better. But he has a unique skill set as far as his speed, his quickness. And then combine that with the way he works each and every day at practice to get better, and that's why we have faith in him.
There's also a growing case that Tyler Steen should definitely keep the right guard spot, even when Mekhi Becton comes back from his injury, as Steen is allowing 0 quarterback hits and 0 sacks in 82 pass blocking snaps he's had this season. The good news, though, is that whether you like Becton or Steen, you have 2 solid options at right guard, no matter who actually gets to start this week. Also, quick question, did you notice Jalen Hurts under center a lot more versus the Bengals on Sunday? Well, if you did, you'd be correct, as he was under center a season-high 21 times versus Cincinnati. That's almost double their previous high from just a week prior. Going under center creates so many new options for Kellen Moore, whether it's just running the football behind fullback Ben Van Sumeren to Saquon Barkley, or play actioning out of it and hitting shots down the field. You can tell, honestly, that Hurts really wasn't that comfortable, at least under center early on this season. Really been a shotgun quarterback his entire career, but the gradual ramp up of underplay calls has really been significant, especially this past week. And I'm telling you, it's going to continue to make this offense even more lethal the more they implement it in.
Under center, by game plan and by situation, obviously there's certainly some really good value to it, and the run game and the potential of action game as we go. And so I think there's been some good stuff in the run game that's kind of allowed us to get downhill the last couple weeks, and so we'll see where it takes us.
But it's good to just be multiple and some different things, but still do what you do well. And I think we've had a lot of success being in the gun, and also can have some success here under center. Different personnel groupings give you some different under center opportunities as well. And so, yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything.
Also, can we just appreciate Jalen Hurts for not only being coachable and actually wanting to be under center, but having some incredible performances each of the past 2 weeks. I mean, just the other day, he was the highest graded quarterback out of any QB in the entire NFL in Week 8. According to Nick Sirianni, he's been dialed in at practice. The football didn't touch the ground in Thursday's practice, allegedly, but his performance versus the Bengals, really putting his running ability on display, and now the under center and over the middle throws is a really, really great look for a QB1 who's been a little bit under the microscope if you ask the Philly media the past couple of weeks. And naturally, his great play is not only taking the league by storm, but his offensive coordinator is really liking what he's seen.
We're on the same page. We got completions. I think the real big aspect of it is we also put ourselves in more favorable third downs, which allowed us to play in those situations that we had prepared for. And so I thought our guys did an awesome job. Jalen did an awesome job. I thought our week was a really, really positive week on the practice field, and it showed up on Sunday.
It's really a great time in Philadelphia right now. I mean, we went from one of the worst defenses and really one of the worst offenses to a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense the past 3 weeks. And we finally had a good opponent in the Cincinnati Bengals to silence the whole, it's just the Browns and the Giants crowd, which is also a massive thing. I am curious if they do anything at the NFL trade deadline, and I'm also very curious about Tyler Steen versus Becton and Slay versus Rodgers. Give me your thoughts on those down below in the comments section. We'll keep an eye on it here on the channel as well. Be sure to subscribe. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a victory, I guess, Tuesday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.